This is Eye on Hong Kong with Key.
And this is Harminder, and we'll be discussing the top news for the week involving Hong Kong and China. So this happened during the commercial break of this week's Q&A with the chief executive. And there's lots of
shouting and yelling.
Yeah.
Because Albert Chan was yelling and telling CY Leung to step down.
Yeah.
And Anne Chan tried to protect the Romeo. And Albert Chan saying that because CY Leung proposing to clean Hong Kong and appointing Carrie Lam to be the leader of Cleaning Hong Kong campaign. And then Albert Chan saying that the AB party actually planted questions about it, and Anne Chan joined it, and then Albert Chan certainly talk about the father of Anne Chan, because Anne Chan's father was the one of these national heroes to fight against the communists.
Oh, okay.
And then Anne Chan defended, saying that my father was fighting against the Japanese, but then Albert Chan saying that your father is the one who against the communists.
Interesting. And then, of course, we had Steve So there trying to make sure things didn't escalate. The tallest guy in Let's Go.
Yes.
Anyways, welcome to the 55th episode of Eye on Hong Kong. I thought that, we should play that clip, and it'd be a good intro, a bit volatile in the Q&A, but nothing really happened. Other than that.
You mean the Q&A?
Yeah.
Well, he actually, like CY Leung, as usual, and he didn't really answer any questions directly or give any clear answer.
That's with every interview. Well, when he does, he speaks too much of the truth and gets in trouble.
What I get the impression is that is CY Leung shouting, screaming for, I want an IT bureau, I want IT bureau,
Yeah.
I want IT bureau, and
like
that's
a
it.
petulant child.
Yeah.
But the ITB, like we had Charles Mock on before, he's for it, but because I think the IT sector sees this as a potential cash cow, government contracts. But overall, if Cyberport is any indication of the what the government can do when it has money to innovate and build IT industry in Hong Kong, I don't have much faith.
And even the new professional group, the frontline tech workers, they also issued a statement yesterday saying that they are against it, and they call for the filibuster of this. It's very interesting. Even the professional inside the IT, they are against it.
Interesting indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame them, because a Cyberport is a complete disaster overall. It's a complete waste. It's a ghost town most of the time. It was supposed to be like Silicon Valley, but in Hong Kong. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. But it ended up being a white elephant, like all these other white elephant projects that are coming through.
According to the frontline tech workers, they're saying that actually a long time ago, like year 2003, that there was actually the Technology Bureau, and they were with the Commerce and Economic Development Bureau. But at that time, Donald Tsang said that because the IT industry or IT ideas are already integrated with all other industries, so they do not have to emphasize that in that bureau.
So what is this bureau? Look, we don't need bureaus and czars like in like they did in the Soviet era. We don't need that.
But isn't it true that when we look at the Singapore and then other countries like South Korea, they also have this IT bureau or the IT chief officer to.
Okay, with Singapore, Singapore's a nanny state. They want their hand in anything, but still prance around as free market. And when it comes to South Korea, most of their industry is that. So I'm not surprised that they have a bureau for it, because majority, there's a pillar economy.
Isn't it a CY Leung idea to have really develop the IT industry? That's why he plans to have a IT bureau. Any concrete plan for
No, that's the thing.
bureau?
I don't know what it does. What are the plans?
I think the first thing they can do is to revamp their website.
All government websites are atrocious. They're hard to navigate. The search function isn't very good. The layouts are from the late 90s. I mean, they're awful. Except the Let's Go website, which is half decent, right? But everything else is just the same boring, tired layouts.
I
Well,
think
IT Bureau is going to fix that?
Well, actually, the style and the layout or design of the website do give us a lot of memory. And it's a good way
There
to...
are Wayback Machines for that, for Google, if we want memories, okay, of old websites. We don't need it constantly when we're trying to do our work when it comes to government departments.
I seldom really read any website from the from a computer, but when I try to access the government website on my mobile phone, it's so mobile.
It's
not
the
unfriendly.
actual website opening in your mobile.
And then you cannot really read everything.
Exactly.
It's
Like
too
I said,
small.
it's awful.
Yeah.
It's
Even
awful,
the ad is awful.
To be honest, I don't want this IT bureau. I think the free market can do a better job. Even though we haven't really developed much of a IT. Well, it's there. It's just not exploded yet. I think it'll just take more time. I mean, GoGo Van is probably the biggest thing we have.
Yeah, for legal profession, we have this Dragon Law thing, and it's online service helping people to draft contract.
Well, there's stuff that's coming through, but we also see a lot of Europeans and a lot of Americans and stuff coming to Hong Kong to start their IT startups and even build. So the talent is there. It's just that it hasn't produced anything yet.
Is it because the government didn't really assist on that?
No, I don't think it has anything to do with government.
Let's say like Cloudflare, and it was they were choosing the head office in Asia. At the end, they went to Singapore because the Singaporean government gave them a lot of assistance.
Well, okay, meaning they gave them a lot of free money. You see, that's the difference. We should not be subsidizing other companies to come here. That's not free market. That's fascism. That's state and corporate mixing.
But the thing is that what attracts these, big names?
Too bad. We don't need it. We trust me. It's better that we can have our own industry to grow without needing too much government interference. Eventually, blows up in your face, anyways. I haven't seen any real government projects that have never blown up in their face down the line. Anyways, we'll continue on this theme of technology. Taxi drivers here did a slow drive.
Why? I thought that...
Bitching and complaining about Uber and other taxi apps.
They also threatened to occupy the road.
Yeah.
Because
I wonder where they got that idea from. Occupying the road?
I thought during the Occupy movement, they were the one who applied for injunction.
Yeah,
they were
exactly.
the one who against the students occupying the road. They were the one who are complaining that these students trying to
made lots of money while it was happening, by the way.
Because
overcharging, because they were saying, "Oh, that area is occupied. I got to charge you an extra $100 to go down there."
Exactly. And then now they are complaining about Uber.
Yeah.
And then because...
First of all, I like Uber. I've never used it, but I love the concept. If I want an on-demand cab instead of me waiting on the road and 10 of them pass me by because I look different, I'll choose Uber and get in a nice little Tesla and get to my destination and pay about 30% more. I'd rather do that than give my money to these cabbies where I'm not all cabbies are bad. Don't get me wrong, okay? But from my experience, it's hard to hail a cab. If I'm in Lan Kwai Fong and it's 2:00 in the morning, I have to ask like 15 drivers if they'll go in my area before one of them will say hop in.
I have to say
and
that
they can't overcharge me because I speak Canto.
I have to say that as a local and I have the advantage.
Yeah, you have a story you want to share.
Yeah, I have the advantage of it. Actually, I was standing on the road, and then actually one Caucasian guy ahead of me, and he was waiting for a taxi, and then the taxi driver came along the road, and then the taxi driver didn't stop for him. The taxi driver stopped right in front of me. Yeah. I was in a hurry, so I get on the taxi. Okay, so I get on the taxi, but then I asked the taxi driver, why didn't you pick up that Caucasian guy first because he was the one ahead of me, and then the taxi driver said, "Oh, because we family, and then I don't speak English, so I rather to pick up you rather than a Caucasian guy."
News to taxi drivers: we have something here. It's called a smartphone. It has lots of information on it, including destinations in Cantonese. Okay?
I thought they have a lot of smartphone in front of them, right?
Yeah, you have 5 of them in front of you. So one in our hands means we can show you where we want to go. It's called technology. All right? Now, see, that's why I like Uber, and this is the free market working, where a better service comes along and takes away the business of a bad service. Now they want the government to intervene. Okay, maybe they can intervene by saying a little light regulation, like make sure you have insurance for passengers, and maybe you want to register just saying that you can pick up people. That's it. That's as light as the regulation should be. But they should not be made to get licenses or whatever. This is free market at its best.
I mean, if they want to really regulate the taxi driver, I think the first thing they should do is to make all these taxi drivers to take a mandatory courses to learn better English,
or at least not stop skipping Chinese locals or even tourists and going to the next one. I love getting into a cab when they're at a taxi stand. They have no choice but to pick me up and watch the color of their face turn from red to like white, like, oh,
you mean yellow to yellow,
whatever. All right, and turn ghost white. Oh my God. Can he speak Canto? I'm like, am I going to find? Yes, I can tell you my destination in Cantonese. It's okay. Or I have a trusty thing called a smartphone now.
But the other thing about Uber is that they have quite a lot of problem with the local government in different countries as well.
Yeah, France, they're getting beaten up.
Yeah, and then there's some other country actually banned Uber.
That's not free market. That's just fascism.
And one of the reasons because of the first time I heard about the argument was actually about the privacy issue, because the Uber they hold all these information of yours from where to go, and then they have all these data to use.
So does Google, but
exactly.
We still use it.
And when people using this kind of stuff, they should also they should be aware that what kind of information they're giving out to you.
Okay, so here's the thing: they could be, through the privacy commissioner, made to have an opt-out. We don't store your information. If you want us to keep your information, we'll send you offers and stuff.
But sometimes they have to save your information, but they cannot save it for
forever.
Yeah, forever. Yeah. Like when you're using Uber, then you have to pay. You have to give the information of your credit card and the distance of the
where you want to go.
Yeah, and everything.
But it's convenient, isn't it? No need for cash. It's going right to your credit card. Jump in, jump out. That's
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like. I use it when I travel.
Yeah.
And but I find it quite convenient because I sometimes at the airport is very good.
It's free market. It's technology in a synergy that's displacing this archaic way of getting getting where you want to go. And taxi drivers just need to improve their own service, not give you crappy service and say, oh, we don't want this better service because it eats into ours. Your taxis are poorly maintained. I'm seeing taxis from the 90s making a comeback because they don't want to pay for new cabs. I'm seeing them on the road now. You've inflated the taxi license to $7 million by speculating.
Right.
That's another problem. I mean, you've caused these problems yourselves. So don't blame the free market for it.
Exactly.
So we'll move on, and we had a massive typhoon this week that came through, and we had to get off work early. Oh, right, it never came.
What do you mean?
It never came. I'm sorry, it never came. I call it Typhoon Fasok because it's the same thing, right? I was waiting for it to come. It never came.
It
had an excuse that it just died on the way.
it's just very like the city mystery that the
God.
typhoon
It's conspiracy theory.
Yeah, the typhoon would only comes after work and or during night.
Yeah,
and because of the lease field.
The Lee's field. This is a conspiracy theory online, okay? That Li Ka-shing
It's not a conspiracy.
has
it's just a joke.
somehow erected a typhoon force field around Hong Kong and can direct the timing and can direct how the intensity.
No, people do have grounds to say that because the Hong Kong Observatory under the Commerce and Economic Development Bureau. Why would that be? It must be some reason because they want to control.
Some conspiracies are real. This is really out there, okay? But yes, weather modification is real. They've been testing that since like the 60s. All right, it's been declassified. It's all real. Weather modification. They can make typhoons and kill them at the same time, but you can't do it with a force field. You need lots of planes. You need spraying. You need all this stuff.
You never know.
Oh God. Okay,
we saw it from the Japanese anime.
It never happened, but we got to get off work early. But if you're a small business owner, that's actually bad. If you're a 9 to 5er, it's good. Well, in this case 9 to 6, and you got an hour off. But then you probably had to wait just as long at the MTR because everybody just slams in at the same time, and there are lines going out the station.
Any MTR breakdowns incidents because of that?
But my bus broke down on the way because the air conditioning was stopped and working on the lower deck, and people were like, chom daga. Oh, so you had to stop the bus and had to get off, and I just took the tram. I couldn't wait. I forgot to mention this, but let's go back to the CY Leung's Q&A. Right. Now, the first question asked was by DAB chairwoman and EXCO member, non-official member, Starry Lee. She had the first question. Woman. And the first question she asked was about trash. That there's a lot of trash building up in certain black spots in the city. Well, CY Leung had the answer for that. He just happened to have a committee ready and a campaign ready with the Chief Secretary, Carrie Lam, where they're going to clean up the streets. You know, that wasn't planted. Give me a break. A planted ass question.
I like the facial expression that captured by the newspaper of Carrie Lam at that time, and she looks like, oh my God, I have to clean up. Since when I have to do this kind of job?
I can't wait to just get out of here. And then, that's why Albert Chan and Leung Kwok-hung long hair were like, what a planted question that was. And Starry Lee's answer was, no, it wasn't.
I also like the Jasper Zhang comments about the performance of the all these pro-establishment legislators. He actually shouted saying that, have you guys not performed enough show? For
the television.
Yeah.
I think he said it to all of them. I don't think it was just pro-establishment.
No, it's pro-establishment really? Because they were trying to move a motion that some people is violating the regulations.
Rules of procedure. Yeah. There's always somebody getting up and saying rules of procedure.
Someone's really angry.
I wonder why. Speaking of that, Tree Gun, our favorite legislator, Dr. Tree Gun.
Yes.
The
wise man.
Chung Soo Kun. How do you say his name?
Chung Soo Gan.
Yeah, Chung Soo Gan.
Chung Soo Gan.
All right, so Dr. Tree Gun accused Paul Che, independent lawmaker.
Is he really independent?
Supposedly independent.
Okay.
Lawmaker. Well, he's independent. He doesn't go along with everything, does he? He actually is critical of the government at times. Look, he likes to take nude shots of himself and post it in magazines, okay? That's different. He accused him of leaking the WhatsApp messages. Not directly. Tree Gun said that it's somebody who likes to wear shorts, and there's only two people that in LegCo. That's Paul Che and Leung Kwok-hung. And I don't think Leung Kwok-hung was part of the conversation, so that leaves Paul Che.
And actually, Paul Che
wore
the shorts 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, don't know.
I don't know what's going on. Speaking of chief executives earlier, John Zheng got a nice little handshake from the president of China, Xi Jinping. Now,
what's the significance of that?
Well, Tung Chee-hwa got his first handshake from Jiang Zemin, and suddenly he became chief executive. So they're kind of running on that.
But the thing is that only looking at this kind of sign that
But he went up to him first.
Yes, he's the one who approaching him.
Yeah,
not,
he approached John Zhang
Yes.
and shook his hand first out of all the delegates that were there.
It's actually show how immature the political system
is
there,
yeah.
because
We're relying on handshakes.
yeah, exactly. Kind of sad.
I wonder how much of a fit Regina Ip threw. Anyways, this week it was very volatile in the stock market. We had the Chinese stock market just absolutely just going on a massive roller coaster. Some say meltdown, some say correction, some say plunge, some say, told you so.
Fall of China.
Some say fall of China. But the reality is that it's the government's fault over there for hyping the market in the first place, because they saw that the asset bubble of real estate has slowed down. Shipping and logistics and manufacturing is slowing down, so they had to hype a new bubble to expand their GDP numbers. Because it's all about the GDP numbers over there, right? So that happened, but then suddenly it deflated really fast, and the government poured in trillions of dollars to prop it up. The government stopped short selling. The government, voluntarily, 51% of A shares on the stock market in Shanghai voluntarily stopped trading voluntarily, right? To stop the bleeding, and all these other measures, the margin calls were not allowed and all that stuff. I mean, it was really awful. This is like hardcore intervention, totally against free market. This is not the reforms they were talking about, but it's recovered some since. But still, they can't do it forever.
Right, and then some citizens in PLC, in Peking, they protest outside the stock exchange.
I can understand why. Because they were hyped into it.
Because they got, the government trapped them.
Yeah,
to buy it.
Pretty much, it was a pump and dump.
So
in a way.
It's a fraud.
It was a fraud.
They should sue the government.
Well, yeah, and then get thrown in jail.
Yeah,
right. You ask for justice, you go to jail. But. It's the government through the newspapers, China Daily, People's Daily, Global Times, Xinhua, all of them, okay? They all hyped the stock market and how patriotic it was to invest in it. And 80% of the people in the stock markets are retail investors, meaning individuals, not brokerage houses and hardcore investors, So it's really just, your average mom and pops that are investing, and they lost a lot of money. So they have a right to be pissed because they were, hyped into it. But then again, if you don't do your due diligence and just believe in hype, you deserve what you get, like Bitcoin, right? So they jumped into the hype, but it just shows that. And then we have this stock connect here. They want another one with Shenzhen. I don't think so. It's not ready for us. We're highly advanced in that field, and tying ourselves together with a highly regulated, interventionalist stock market does not bode well for us.
Talking about that, before the crash down of the stock markets of China, the chairman of the stock exchange Hong Kong, and he's actually comments on saying that the stock market in China is the most transparent, the most fair system.
Well, fair, no. Transparent, yes. How? Because each and every transaction is linked to a bank account. So you can find out who's selling stuff. But the thing is that when this happened, initially it was, we're going to find these, first it was foreigners, and then it was Goldman Sachs, and then it was somebody shorting it and all that. Well, no, it's just the market.
But
it was a bubble.
But when you're talking about transparency, it's also about the transparency of the companies and what kind of information they're providing.
We don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the stock market is more transparent than most because you can actually find out who's doing the transactions, right? But I don't see why short selling should be naked short selling. Yeah, that's a problem. But short selling is a problem. Is not a problem because you're just betting against the market.
Right.
That it'll go down. Somebody did that in 1995 against the bond market there. Shorted it, and it went down, and that guy went to jail for 14 years for bribery. So that's what you get for actually engaging in the free market. Moving on, we have we have a localist protester sentenced to 12 months on probation for assaulting a police officer. And we don't have this photo up with us to put up right now, but the photo that's circulating is a police officer pinning down the protester with his legs.
Yeah, the protester is a lady.
Yeah, a male
police officer.
Yeah.
And pinning down the lady.
Yeah.
And then she complained about being sexually harassed by the police.
Yeah.
And
she got arrested.
But what about the assault? Now she got arrested.
Yeah.
It seems to me that from what I read from the internet is that they're saying that she kicked the police officer in a very close distance.
But I don't understand the magistrate's reasoning.
What do you mean?
Because the magistrate said that exerting violence towards anyone was wrong, even in self-defense.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, exactly. So, this is according to Ming Pao. This was Magistrate David Chung, right? He said that when they said that, the magistrate said it was the debate was unimportant, that a taller police officer could be assaulted by a shorter, kicked in the chest by a shorter.
In a very close distance.
And there were no witnesses. He was the only one.
But I thought there were quite a lot of people
surrounding. The primary witness was him. Right?
But the thing is that I think the discrepancies of the...
Oh, sorry. He was the only person that saw the assault.
And
because he was in.
Because I thought the reason why people having the big discussion of that is that during the... They got different version of how the girl kicked the police officer.
Okay.
And then first is in the witness statement and the written witness statement, and then in the oral statement in court, and then the oral statement given by another police officer that is different from the same one. So it seems that there are some of the discrepancies in the evidence, but the magistrate in court saying that those discrepancies are not important, are not material.
Yeah.
So are we saying that we are giving the benefit of doubt to the prosecution now? It seems to me quite a bit weird. It's not the.
So I don't know. I don't understand this ruling. I don't know if the protester Chantan Lai is going to appeal.
I have no idea. So
it's 12 months of probation. I mean, it's not jail time, but still, it's still probation.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's fair.
Well, we will see what happens next. But I would love to read the written judgment first before making any comments about it, because in the news probably they have sometimes saying.
Yeah, sometimes they don't report everything. You have to read actually the written judgment. Hey, I want to ask you this: have you seen the story about banners going up? You know, those street banners by politicians on the railings. Now, district councillors that belong to the FTU suddenly removed their logos from their banners.
Why?
Yeah, why? Wouldn't have anything to do with the botched voting, would it? It's been reported that members of the FTU actually removed their FTU logos from their banners.
Wow.
3 of them.
Three of them? I only heard of one of them?
3 of the FTU. Potential district councillors or existing,
but I think FTUs, of course, they were the one who started all these the fiasco. Yeah. But the one who behind
Chan Yun-han, she's the one who voted.
Yeah, but the one is the one who behind it and telling people to go out of the chambers was the AB. This is what you've got him.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Lam from the Professional Business Alliance, or whatever it's called. Yeah. But they followed suit anyways, right? Wong Kwok Kin and all of them walked out with him, right?
True.
So I just found that hilarious that he just walks out with them and then they remove their logo. We have nothing to do with it. We didn't do anything.
If you're still ashamed of that, then just, leave the party.
Final thing I wanted to bring up, this is back to the ITB Bureau. The Democratic Party says they will not attend the Finance Committee hearings, and Labour Party said they will not engage in the filibusters. And Civic Party says we're going to wait till Monday before we make a decision.
So it's only people power and Leung Kwok-hong.
Yeah. What do you think about the Democratic Party abstaining?
I can understand that because it's summer holiday. We have plans.
They already booked their flights.
I think so. So
That's
they have to
why.
go for holiday. I would do the same thing too, right?
Elections.
What
Yeah.
what election?
The
is talking
district
about?
council won this year.
Does
Lajco next year.
a holiday more important, right? We have to live at present.
Wait. They're getting 3 months off. That's not enough.
They think they stay the biggest party, so they will win anyway, right? They are that confident. I'm happy.
I just don't like abstention. Like you're for it or you're not. You can't say I abstain.
Yeah, exactly. This time you have to make a stand.
You always have to make a stance for all issues.
Exactly.
You're
Then
paid for this.
and now they're leaving for holidays.
Anyways, we're coming up to our final segment here of the Shame on You Award. It's only going to be a half-an-hour show this week. Who do we nominate?
Starry Lee.
For a planted question?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm tempted to give it to the Democratic Party for abstaining.
Because, okay.
Yeah. But Starry Lee's planted question was too obvious.
Yes. But I would say for the IT Bureau more important issue.
Than a planted question?
Yeah, than this silly planted question. They
Yeah.
want to make a show, then do your own show.
I think you're not participating in your in your legislative duty by not. I think this is the first pan-Democrats that are going to get the Shame on You Award. So, Democratic Party, who are not participating in the Finance Committee hearings, you have just received the
Shame on you.
award. And I think it's important to give it to them because they're not doing their job.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Thank you for joining us this week. We will be back next week. But until then, please check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/IronHKPod, Twitter /IronHKPod, and we're always on iTunes and IronHK.podbean.com if you want to directly download in audio. And of course, Mimi Hong Kong, thank you so much for the facilities and the video and everything like that. And thank you to Hing Jai, our wonderful
Jai.
producer. You are awesome. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.